In North County, we have a new materials recovery facility that's being built, a new hospital, $220 million Willis bypass, a $70 million Twin Bridges project up to the corner of the county, Confusion Hill, Laytonville widening project, the Covelo sewer project, Indian housing projects of both Covelo and Willits, roads and streets projects of Laytonville Rancheria. You know, that's about over $350 million in new projects just in North County that are just right started. Like for instance, the Willis bypass, the money's starting to come in because the state's starting to write the checks for the right of way. So that's going to help the economy. That's just in the North County. Also up in the North County, there's 3 brand new grocery stores being built. There's one in Covelo, the one in Laytonville was just finished 2 years ago, and there's going to be a new one in the center of Willits. All private, no chain stores or nothing. So I just wanted to bring that out because when we talk about economic development, it seems like the tone used to be, well, how bad things are, you know. But there's some real bright spots in this county. We hear a lot of bad news, economic news at the state and federal level, but locally, I think I feel really good about what's happening in the north end of the county. And not that we can't do a lot better, but there are a lot of bright spots out there. So, but the most important thing I feel that this board can do is when it comes to land use decisions, that's where most of the project anything starts with is a land use decision. Whether it's a biomass plant, whether it's on forest land or in industrial zoning, it starts with a land use decision. We've had 3 chances to have biomass plants in this county, twice in the Willits Valley, once in Covelo in the last 20 years. Turned them down, all 3 of those projects. Probably short-sightedness, yes. I mean, the wood out there is just going to rot in the forest. So, you know, land use decisions and the water situation in this county is a crisis situation that's been described. That's something that this board needs to work on, is those 2 issues. And without that, we're going to be stymied with economic development.
Thanks, Supervisor. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think these were all excellent presentations. I really appreciated what all of you had to say, and the fact that there is this coalescence of these ideas under this Mendocino Futures is I think, great. And I think it's really going to help propel us forward. I think these are really great concepts. I would like to say, though, I think we need to make sure that we've got coastal visions at the table, and it's not just the concept of it'll flow over to the coast. We, of course, historically all know we've had these rifts before, and we've had issues with respect to promotion and tourism that haven't always worked well together, the inland visions and the coastal visions. So I think it's good that we have a segue and we're moving on into the next presentation that talks about the coast, but not even supposed to be an afterthought or an addendum to an economic development discussion, but clearly being at the table. And we've got a couple folks both from the tourism group here from the coast today, and we also have some other economic development interests here, and we've got the Chamber of Commerce from Fort Bragg. So I think it's just very important, and I think that the folks on our next agenda can address that, of how we move forward, making sure that there's not a coastal dialogue and an inland dialogue, and making sure that we get that really nailed together at its foundation.
Just for information, a couple of groups at the coast are organizing on April 4th a large meeting of the community to connect the work they're doing to the work we're doing. So a couple of us are coming over to speak and actually facilitate similar kind of conversations and connect up for that very purpose. That's April 4th and 7th in Fort Bragg.
And as Mark mentioned, the idea of biomass, there's going to be a meeting coming up later this week, and I really think that the Fort Bragg biomass plant, with all the partners that are at the table, really has a good chance of going forward.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Supervisor. I too want to thank you, one, for being here and giving us an update on the activities of the organization and the efforts, and also to chime in a little bit on what I heard as a kind of a common theme, maybe not explicitly but implicitly, and that is ties back into the economic development strategy options that the Executive Office put forward talk about expansion of our local businesses and retention, and there's D, E, F, G, and H on here, which to me are critical parts of any of the economic development that has to occur to facilitate the wine industry and its refreshing or new wineries or the economic development from that standpoint. The infrastructure needed to do the processing of the livestock, and then the zoning, as Supervisor Finch has said, land use decisions that allow the biomass activities to go in, and that's the water supply development and the infrastructure development. Those are the issues that are really holding us back right now. There's a lot that's going forward, but that infrastructure improvement, whether it's the communication infrastructure, that's a biggie that a lot of folks don't even think about, but if you go to try to do that business, having something besides a dial-up internet connection that we have in Potter, something that really connects us to the outside business world. Those infrastructure developments are critical, and that's one of the areas that we need to focus as government. Private industry is doing a wonderful job on your end, and I commend you all for doing that. We need to focus our end on getting you the tools and the infrastructure to make it easier.
And that's it in a nutshell. I think Steve or Mark mentioned earlier, what can the county do for us? 9 out of 10 times it is stay the hell out of the way and let private industry take care of the marketplace. I've been a strong believer in the Wine Commission, the Wine and Grape Commission. We have missed the target for so many years on promoting our own product in the quick and easy way of just selling it to the outsiders. That's a great accomplishment of what they're doing. In the timber industry, biomass, biofuels, simple as wood pellet production facility in this county would eliminate fuels buildup and make a marketable product that we could utilize here. I believe the closest pellet production facility is either in central or northern Oregon, or maybe even into Idaho. For the last 4 years, we've run out of pellets in this county, March of every year. Well, if we're going to try and clean our air and move towards pellets for wood heating, we have to have our own local supply. That's another place the government could help supply some money to do that. And as far as the meat processing, food processing facility, it doesn't have to be in an urban area. It can be in the 5th largest county in California, in areas that don't impact an urban setting, but provide the localization to the county. I looked at your operating principles, and number 4 is vastly important to me. Putting aside your personal interests and working cooperatively together, that's the only way we're going to move into the future. And I really appreciate you having that in your operating principles. So, Supervisor Kovacs, any comments?
Well, the chair can refrain from making sarcastic responses when I make my comments. I will make a comment or two. I appreciate this presentation. When I heard reference to goat cheese some 15 years ago, I discovered that the problem with doing goat cheese in Mendocino County was that the planning department felt that goat cheese was not an agricultural product, so I filled out of escrow of the Carducci winery facility that he was moving to a more complex situation. Apparently, the planning department at that time said that selling goat cheese from goats that are on premises would be the equivalent of having a woman's good shop on a place that raised sheep. Having a Brooks Brothers or